I have to destroy Ben Shapiro with facts and logic. Last week on his show, he talked about the UFO hearings on Capitol Hill, and he had exactly the same kind of dismissive attitude that you would expect. And it's the same attitude that everybody here at DW has, except me. And originally I'd planned to go through in great detail and dissect everything that he said about this. And we're not going to do that. Instead, I just want to call attention to two brief parts of Ben's offensive and outrageous attack on the alien-believing community, ABC. And I think we have those clips. Let's play the first one.
Alrighty, folks, Congress is so effective that they have time to spare, and now they're having a hearing about UFOs. There was a big hearing on the Hill about UFOs. Now, you may ask, why am I covering this so far into the show? Wouldn't that be like the number one news? No, because it's bullcrap. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there right now. There are no aliens on planet Earth other than perhaps Bernie Sanders. There are no aliens, okay? There may be in the universe. They haven't found us yet.
Okay, so first of all, Bernie Sanders is not an alien. He's like some kind of undead. He's like a zombie. He's an undead kind of thing that came out of the ground, or they dug out of the ground like an orc. But you are admitting, Ben, to begin with, and this you always hear this. I love when saying the quiet part out loud. Okay, this is, and you'll always hear this, and usually it's a little bit more subliminal. But here he's coming out and saying, admitting the preconceived biases up front. Admitting that he rules out the possibility that any aliens could have visited Earth before looking at the evidence. So what does that mean? It means that there's no evidence at all that could possibly convince him. So then what credibility does his point of view have on this subject? If you are saying from the beginning, if I come to you and I say, I have evidence that aliens have visited Earth. I have evidence. And you say to me, doesn't matter what your evidence is, I don't believe it. I already don't believe it. Well, okay. See, when I show you the evidence and then you say, yeah, that's not convincing. Well, you were already committed to that response. You were openly committed to that response before you looked at it. So your response to the evidence is meaningless. As opposed to my approach, which is very open-minded. Now, yes, am I certain that aliens exist? Yes. Am I certain they've been to Earth? Yes, but I'm open, okay? I will listen to the arguments and I will respond to them. So I have the much more open-minded and, dare I say, tolerant, and I would even say enlightened perspective on this subject than Ben Shapiro does. But here's where we really get down to it is with the next clip. Watch this.
Weird how that keeps happening. How like all of these systems that would provide for the surveillance they always go down. Just like Bigfoot. So many people have seen Bigfoot. And yet nobody seems to have gotten like a really credible, good view of Bigfoot that they can then show. Like we're on a planet where everyone has a cell phone, like every single person with camera capabilities. And you're telling me that no one has yet taken credible images of any of this magically. That's just how it works.
No, that's not what we're telling you, Ben. That's not what we're telling you. In fact, there are a lot of credible images. This is not like Bigfoot, okay? At this point, I'm convinced that the people here, especially Daily Wire, keep making this Bigfoot comparison. They're doing it just to attack me personally. They're doing it just to annoy me personally because the comparison, in fact, the comparison only proves why the alien stories are more credible. Because yes, with Bigfoot, if you've got this race of ape-like men who live in the woods in North America, they're in your backyard practically, and they've been there for forever, you'd think that there'd be some kind of compelling video footage, photograph, physical evidence, something, and none of that exists. So that's enough to tell you that the whole story is bogus. With aliens, first of all, you wouldn't even expect as much compelling evidence because these are creatures that live many light years away, and if they visit, they're 50,000 feet in the sky, traveling at the speed of sound, okay? Whereas the Bigfoot is this big hairy thing lumbering along, and so there's a lot of opportunity to grab your phone. And the Bigfoot's walking by, you could grab your phone could be off, and you go, oh crap, I gotta turn it on. And you take the time to turn it on, you pull the camera up, and Bigfoot's still there, because he's so slow and fat and dumb. But with the UFO, blink and you miss it. And so most of the time, there's not enough time to even pull your phone out because the thing's traveling so fast. And yet, in spite of those obstacles, still we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photographs, footage that we've seen since the 50s. I mean, there are compelling UFO photos back in the 50s that still have not been debunked. People want to say that they're hoaxes, but many of them still, people have been, experts have been looking at them for decades and haven't been able to debunk them. And so what do you expect? You expect that if UFOs have visited, you would expect that back in the mid 20th century when there's photographic technology, but not like it is today, that every once in a while you'd see a good photograph. And then you would expect that today there'd be a lot more, and that's exactly what we see, okay? It's exactly what we see. And not only do we have cell phone footage, we have radar, okay? We have data from radar. We have videos that Navy pilots have taken where they're up in the sky and they are zooming in on a thing that is traveling across the sky and doing things that defy the laws of physics as we understand them. Ben, we have all of this. It's there for you to look at. Okay, but you refuse to. You're not going to see it if you have your eyes closed. And I think that's the issue here. So your response is, well, if this was really happening, then wouldn't there be, you'd think you'd have pilots that are up in the sky and that they see this stuff and they get footage of it. We do have that. It's there. That's the whole point. That's why we're talking about this. Okay? What's your explanation, Ben? How do you explain it? How do you explain what we can definitely say are physical objects in the sky doing things that are centuries beyond the technological capabilities of our country? So, do the Chinese are they like 500 years ahead of us with technology? And if they are, why haven't they just simply taken over the whole world by now? Why haven't they just done that? Why isn't it the whole globe China if they have that kind of technology? Okay, these are questions you can't answer. And you know why the real question, Ben, is not whether there is reason to believe, okay? The question is whether you are willing to believe. Are you willing to believe, Ben? That's what you have to ask yourself in your heart. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.